You've now seen several people make cool charts in Tableau, but how do you exactly make charts? Well, Tableau makes it really simple. There's a Show Me tab over here. On this tab, you can see dimensions, measures. So for instance, if you want to make a bullet graph, you need two measures to do so. So let's give that a shot real quick. So we're going to make a bullet graph. So first, this is the measures. It's right below the bar. And up here, we have just our normal categories. These are also dimensions up here. We want to go into measures. So we're going to do this really quick. So just choose a category. It's a measure. Again, we need two. So profit. And let's do sales because that kind of makes sense, right? And then we get the opportunity for a bullet graph. So you choose that. So just think the green is going to give you a bullet graph. We also have a histogram because we had another measure, and then this can take it back over, but it gives you lots of options to very quickly start making graphs within Tableau. But I really just encourage you guys to start right here. Let's say right here, scatter plots. We have 2 or 4 measures. We need some more or one or more dimensions. So how do we do this for the scatter plot? Well, we definitely need more. So let's actually take all our measures here and see what options we get. Profit. And I think, did we get discount? We got one more, guys. Sales. Okay, we just threw an extra one on there. It's all right. Then we click over here and you have this one little thing. What's the problem with this? Well, I think the problem with this is it's not discrete. When you hit discrete, you're going to get still the same graph, but it's a little bit better, right? But we want to get these all put on here. So let's say you want to do city. It should separate this out a little bit better. There, now we have a ton of cities that are built in. So just make sure you get your one measure, two measures. Now it says 2 or 4 measures, which is okay. So just throw every calculation in there. And now you've got a scatter plot in a way. Not the greatest scatter plot ever, but at least it does. But you can kind of mess with it and do like sales instead of that. And you can kind of see how it scatters a lot better based upon those cities. You can see the cities that are down there. Maybe the view is not good, so you can do entire view to kind of spread it out. You have to kind of mess with that, but you can see the advantages of being able to do that. You can also do different things where they can select it and do things like that. Maybe you want to put labels on these, so you could just like control and drag city into label, and there you have your top cities labeled. So that's a way to kind of very simply get in there and get started. And now we have the option for a pie chart because we have the dimensions and we have the measures. Remember, blue's dimension, green's the measure, and now you can create all the chart types that are in the show me section very quickly. And no, it may not be perfect, but you can see you could even make a tree map because you've got the right stuff in here. And I think I just would say just like continue to like test things out and see how they work. Here's our bullet. Looks a lot different than the last bullet chart, right? So you can kind of test in. We have another chart of circle views. We can even go into a heat map because we have the map because we have cities now. So you can see all that. And then like you can go over here, some sales, for instance. But when we do that, we can just increase that size so you can start seeing like giant little dots on the map. So when we click that off, you kind of see what areas are really driving sales quickly. So you can analyze your data very quickly. This is a little bit different, a whisker and bots cuff, but we're missing a dimension. So maybe we can put the city or state or region into the dimension and really flip that over into making that a little bit better. But basically with this, you have like 20, most of your stuff's in the middle and it goes by 25%, and then here's your outliers. So you can see like where the outliers are and things like that with the box and whiskers plot. So it's actually a really good tool. And the only thing I would say, like if you're using a pie chart, make sure you're not really wanting to use it a lot. People frown on it, but it's something that kind of lets you. Here's a square pie chart, totally disorientated. But you can kind of see the advantages of doing this. So you can do a lot of different things. Throw stuff in the angle, and then it kind of flips it. You can throw stuff in the label like sales. You can kind of do suit. I didn't even know you could make a square one. So that's kind of cool. Or you can kind of mess with these and do the squares instead, which is a lot better representation. Maybe you don't know what those numbers mean, so you can control region and make a little thing right here that makes that show up. So tons of cool things. You can edit your tooltips, but here you can go down and actually start like creating different things just based upon what you have or whatever that is. Polygon even, density. Some things are not going to work just because that's just not the chart type. Maybe we have our sales and we want to get that into color. Well, that didn't work. So, but you can just kind of keep messing with it until you see something that you really like. Maybe you don't like the color. You can just do so many different things. You just have to keep like messing with it and figuring out here, like this looks nice. So you want to put that in the label. So it's labeled. So anytime you like control drag, you're going to have more option there. Now this is just like easy charts you can start making today. And I think this view up here is also really quick. If you go up here to the view, you click like entire view, and then you see that very quickly. Maybe you want to get the regions in color, so you control drag, and they're going to change colors. And then you can go over here, and then you can start editing colors, and then you can make them whatever you want. So if you want that one to be brown, for instance, you can make it south brown and apply it, change the color palette there. Maybe it's not clear, so you want to put a label of region on there. So there's all certain things that you can do. You have circle, same thing, guys. You probably want to put the label on there so you can see exactly what the difference is, because it's not as easy to tell. But so many different editing tools and formatting. You can also format your graphs by just like right clicking and then clicking format to kind of figure out what you want to do. Rows, columns, fields, region. So maybe you don't like the way it's set up. You can do that and do a lot of different stuff. Or maybe you just want to do the text and see this, but maybe you want to do some analysis and say, I prefer to see the totals on the row or something like that. And that's going to give you apparently nothing, because why? The row only has one total, but you can do a grand total using the columns. So you can go over here to totals, and if you do columns, you're going to get a little thing in here at the bottom that shows that. So that's, you just kind of have to think out logically how that's working, but some cool things you can do very quickly that allow you to see stuff that you're not going to see otherwise in Tableau. So remember, guys, dimensions are the blues, and they're just basically your variables or your categories. Then you have the measures right here, but they can also be a dimension. You can see when I right click this, you can convert to discrete. When you convert to discrete, it's an aggregate, or it's going to go to text. Like watch, if we convert this, for instance, to discrete, we're going to get text. If we convert it back to continuous, you're going to get that. So discrete is a final value, and that's why it turns into text. It's an aggregate. And you can also change it to average, which is probably better, or you can change it to whatever you want. Now, when you change it to dimension, you're also, you see it's continuous and it's a dimension, but you can change the dimension to this, but you're still, it doesn't really work as a dimension. So I don't know. Then you have attribute. It's a little bit different. And then back to dimension. So you can kind of mess around with those and see the different charts that you get, but just be aware it has to literally match what you're trying to do there. So if you have 2 dimensions, you're going to get the options for stuff that does that. But you can also click this plus up here, which is going to give you like quarters, and go really deep and create a really cool chart like this. And then maybe you don't like the color, so you hit control, or maybe the size isn't right, so you make those sizes bigger, which is really cool, honestly, to where it looks like decent. I don't know what's an easy one there, but then you can always change your view to fit to height, standard, or entire view. So, and then lots of things you can do there, but a lot of people forget about their filters. So like maybe they want to filter out, you can click show filter. That's going to allow people to edit that. And you can go to the drop down here and just like have people click, see those regions or see all. So very cool, very quick, where you can see those values change, or maybe find values that aren't easy to compare. But this doesn't have really a compare on it, so you could do multiple values, or so you can compare. Maybe you want to compare central with south, or west west and south together. So things that you can do to kind of find outliers and do things that way. So there's a lot of good stuff there that allows you to create some very neat things that, in all honesty, it's all about just getting in there and trying different stuff. Now, right here we got this, but this is like a dual access, so you can drag it over into an access and that will kind of combine it. So let's try this. So let's say you want to do a dual access chart, and I'm really pushing myself here, but you want to see the discounts. You can go over here, wait for it to kind of bar up. Well, maybe not today, but you can edit the access and do things like that that allow you to kind of do a little bit deeper. We're not going to do that in this video, but maybe you want to see the subcategory. So you post that over there. You can see subcategories and just go really deep into this. You can also rotate those and do stuff like that. Or you want to see the other access, you can get just really deep into what you're trying to do here and what values you want to see on this table. So maybe that some sales as a dual axis is what you want to do, but maybe it's just too much data and you can kind of see where it's trying to push itself. So you got to kind of be smart about your design and what you're trying to do here. So if you go too deep, you'll get a gray box apparently. But if you want to clear your sheet, you just click this clear button and it'll clear everything out and you can start over. So no big deal. Very easy to get rolling on that and really figure out quickly what's going on with your data very quickly. I think that's the most cool thing about it is you can figure out exactly what's going on once you get good at this and figure out how your data is working, where it's going, and you can see very clearly what's going on. So I think that's the great thing about it. Once you get good at these charts, there's a ton of things that you can create and you just have to play around. But remember, measures are these blues, dimensions, green. But if you go below this line, you can see that the measures are also a dimension. So just be smart how you do that. But you know in the graphs over here, it tells you exactly what you need. The measures are green, dimensions are blue. Sorry, I think I said that backwards there. So I'm going to just hang up on this and watch the next data video on this channel. Tons of data videos. They're on this channel, and this one's a pretty good one, honestly. I think you're going to like it. So check this one out because you don't want to miss out on learning data.